Boys and girls, mommies and daddies, and grandmamas and grandpapas. Today's adventure is going to the doctor. Now, Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly had just woke up and they were up in their bedrooms getting dressed for the day. And Piggly says, "What are we going to do today, Wiggly?" And Wiggly says, "I don't know. What are we going to do today? What do you want to do, Squiggly?" And Squiggly says, I think I saw something on Mama's calendar downstairs that, hi Susan, that I think she's got something for us already to do because I saw our initials down there. Uh-oh. What are we going to do? I don't know what it is, but let's go get dressed and go down for breakfast and see what it is. Well, you know, every time that Mommy Piggy has something special for the boys to do or something important, she always fixes a good breakfast. Well, what do you think she had today? She had her famous blueberry pancakes. You can never have enough of blueberry pancakes. Trust me. This grandmommy knows. So they were eating nice and polite and everything, and nobody was saying too many words, and she was wondering why they were so quiet today. So she says, boys, today we have the doctor appointments for all three of you. Their eyes got big and they got scared. They didn't like to go to the doctor. They didn't go to the doctor very many times, so they just was a little scared because they just, they were good. They were such good, healthy little pigs that they didn't have to go to the doctor very often. So, but why, Mommy? Why do we have to go to the doctor? And she says, because it's your checkup, your yearly checkup, and you have to get your shots because school's going to start in a few months. You have to get your shots. Oh, we don't want a shot, Mommy. Well, little Piggy, he just, oh my gosh, he just cried and cried and cried. Every time he got a shot, just cried and cried and cried. Wiggly wasn't much better. He cried a little bit, but when he did cry that little bit, it was loud. Squiggly, on the other hand, took after his great aunt, Pindy Pig, and Pindy, when she was a little girl, she would hop up there on the table and she'd put her little arm out and she'd get a shot and she'd hop down off that table and she'd say, "Thank you, Mr. Doctor." And that was the way Squiggly did. He didn't mind the shots at all. He thought, okay, I can do it. Give me my arm here. There you go. And Mrs. Piggly, she just didn't know what to do because she had two crybabies and then she had this one that he didn't care, but he didn't cry. So they got dressed. And, Mrs. Piggly makes their shirts for them. And she finds the most cutest fabric. And you know that Piggly always wears a yellow shirt, and Wiggly always wears a red shirt, and Squiggly always wears a blue shirt. Guess what Mrs. Piggly had found? She found some doctor fabric. It had little stethoscopes on it. It had little shot thingies on it. It had little pills on it. It had a thermometer on it. The shirt was just covered with little teeny tiny doctor things. It was so cute. So she said, all right, boys, pick out your doctor shirts and let's get dressed. We're going to go. So they got dressed and out the door they went. They all got in the car and they all got buckled up. And she drives down to the doctor's office. Well, there was a nurse there. Her name was Nurse Sally. Sorry. And Nurse Sally knew that the boys were coming in, and she just loved these boys. She thought they were the sweetest boys that she had ever seen. And even though the two, Piggly and Wiggly, cried, she still gave them a lollipop, and she gave Squiggly a lollipop, and she was looking forward to seeing the boys because the boys were so much fun to be with. So they walked into the doctor's office, and Nurse Sally says, "Come right on in. You're the first to come, and you're right on time. It's 9 o'clock. You're right on time, Mrs. Piggy." And Mrs. Piggy says, "Thank you." And so they walked into the doctor's office, and here comes Dr. Green. Well, Dr. Green was a really nice children's doctor. And he knew that Piggly and Wiggly both cried. And he says, "Do you want to get the shots over with, or do you want to have the shots afterwards?" And Squiggly says, "I want mine now. I want to get it over with." And Piggly and Wiggly says, I don't know. And so the doctor gave Squiggly his shot. Excuse me. And Squiggly, just like his Aunt Pindy, jumped down and said, "Thank you, Mr. Dr. Green. That was so good." Dr. Green is just going like, I just don't believe these three boys. So Dr. Green proceeded to take their blood pressure, and he checked their weight, and they checked their height, and he listened to their heart, and he listened to their lungs. And he says, "Mrs. Piggly, I don't know what you do to these boys, but they are in perfect health. I'm so proud of them. All right, boys, it's time for your shots." Now, all that examining with three little piggies, it took probably a half hour to do all of that. Checking their hearts and checking their lungs. Oh, and checking the ears and the throat. Forgot about that part. So all that took about a half hour. Well, Squiggly, he already had his shot. So Piggly and Wiggly, they started to... And one little teeny tiny tear got down. And Mr. Dr. Green says, "Now, boys, I got a surprise for you. We have some new needles." They started crying for sure. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And no, boys, no. These new needles are real little, and they don't hurt. And Nurse Sally has been practicing. Now, did you know how you practice, boys and girls? You practice with an orange. And if you can give that orange a good shot, and careful, and doesn't make the orange go ooh, then you can give good shots. Yep, sure can. Well, Nurse Sally, because she loves those little piggies to pieces, and she knew that they were coming in, she's been taking that new needle, and she's been practicing and practicing, and every orange she could get her hands on, she practiced on. Well, of course, Mr. Dr. Green didn't tell the boys that Nurse Sally had been practicing, but he did tell them that Nurse Sally was ready to give them their shots, and they're starting to cry. And Mr. Dr. Green says, "Now, don't you cry. I told you that this shot wasn't going to hurt you. It's a new needle." "Okay, maybe okay." Here comes Miss Nurse Sally. And she put some alcohol on their little arms, and she goes, boop. And Piggly's waiting there, and he's waiting for the shot. And he finally gets brave, and he looks at Nurse Sally, and he says, "Are you going to give me my shot?" And she says, "Piggly, I already gave it to you." "You gave me my shot, and I didn't even feel it." Wiggly, he turns around, he goes, what? You didn't feel that shot? No, just wait till you get up here on this table and just wait, Piggy, you won't feel anything. Oh my gracious. And Mommy Piggy was smiling. She says, oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Well, up hops Wiggly, and Wiggly's getting scared, and he's not gonna look, and he's getting real scared, and the nurse comes over and she goes, boop, and he's getting scared, and he's going, and Piggly starts laughing, and he says, ha, you didn't feel it any better than I did. Wiggly says, what do you mean? You already got your shot and you didn't know it. Ooh. Well, Miss Nurse Green, Sally Green says, Sally Green, that's not right. Nurse Sally says, I gave you your shots, boys. Didn't the doctor tell you that they weren't going to hurt? Yes, but we didn't believe them because we're scared. And Nurse Sally says, well, I've got something special for you. You got us a lollipop again? She said, even better than that. I've got 3 ice cream cones in the refrigerator just waiting for you boys to come in. So they walked out with 3 ice cream cones, and Mama Piggy was so proud of them. She was going to take them for ice cream herself because she was so proud of them. So she said, okay, boys, she said, climb in the car, it's time to go home. And boys and girls, that's the end of the story for today. And hope to see you Wednesday. All right, bye-bye.